Today we are going to break down some Marvel Rivals gameplay of a gold-ranked Jeff player. I do not know this player personally, but he was in a ranked game with a friend of mine, and we decided to take a look and see what we could learn from it. Jeff isn't considered as high tier as some of the other strategists, but he's perfectly viable all the way up to Grandmaster or higher. The big thing with Jeff is his positioning and getting value out of his ultimate, because other supports can easily put down or use their ultimate like Luna or Invisible Woman, and you can immediately see the value. But with Jeff's, it's much more difficult. So we're going to be looking for examples of that in particular. Now let's dive into the gameplay. All right, so first thing I want to point out is he's on defense, and he has all of his bubbles up, and he hasn't put any bubbles down anywhere. Okay? So the bubbles last for 180 seconds. You might as well put a couple down somewhere. Maybe they don't get used. Maybe you replace them with new bubbles or something by the time they ever get used. But you might as well put a couple bubbles down. And if your team happens to jump on one, step on one, use one as a speed boost, great. But he's just standing here waiting for the enemies to come. So a missed opportunity already. Okay, so his positioning here is good. He's lined himself up where his water spout can actually hit like multiple teammates at a time. You know, most people kind of just run right up this channel here, and I mean, this is where you want to be standing. You know, you got to keep your eyes out for things if someone's coming around the left-hand side to flank you or something, but at gold here, a lot of people don't pay attention to that. He still has his 6 bubbles. He hasn't used any to pre-bubble at all, even for himself. What you want to do on Jeff is he should have like one bubble right here or like right here or something that he knows is there. And if he gets dove and he needs to dive under the water and try and escape or something, he knows he already has a bubble sitting there waiting for himself. He should already have an escape route planned in his head. But this guy, he's just winging it, and he's just healing his team. And he's in a decent spot for that, but let's keep it going. Okay, so he's getting dove now. Okay. I mean, a Venom is not much of a threat to a Jeff. Extremely hard for Venom to kill him. Here's the thing a lot of people don't realize with Jeff is that when you're underwater swimming around, you're not healing anybody. So if you can force a Jeff to do that, that's ideal. The Venom forced him to do that for a few seconds, so that's when his team hopefully gets a kill on someone else that the Jeff isn't healing now. But nothing happened. Okay, so we're in our actual first team fight here, and the Captain America's come to pressure the Jeff, and he's over swimming here. Okay, Captain America's already given up. He's been bubbled. He's got full health on the Jeff, and now he's still swimming away like he's running away from something, but no one's chasing him anymore. He's healthy. So like I said before, if you're swimming around, you're not healing anybody, and look at his team. They're all taking damage here. So now he finally starts healing again. Multiple people could have easily died there. Okay, so he gets into the Invisible Woman ult. That's fine. He starts doing some damage. His Scarlet Witch dies during this. I don't think he didn't even see her, didn't even pay attention, but he's got his ult now. So when you have your Jeff ult, it's probably the hardest mechanic to actually decide what to do. On this map, there's nowhere he can just drag someone and spit them off the edge and kill them. That whole tactic needs to kind of escape your brain on Jeff. You need to use his ultimate as a way to like save tanks, save teammates, and relieve pressure. If you can swallow 2 enemies and an ally, that's like an amazing ult. If you swallow 2 enemies and an ally, you can spit your ally out. He's now fully healed, and the 2 enemies you can hold for like a 5-second stun, essentially. But you got to remember, if you're in that form, you can't heal your teammates either. Once you spit them out, they're not going to get healed anymore. So you got to make decisions pretty quick. So this guy, he's not ulting. The team fight is still right in the middle of everything. Now he ults. So he gets his Hulk. He gets the Captain America. Spits his Hulk out to his inevitable death. And Jeff dies. So he just waited too long. The enemy Star-Lord ulted, started killing people. Most of the enemies were still alive. He just should have went for it earlier, just seen what he could grab. It's either you do that or you don't use it at all and just accept that the fight's over. But instead he ults, he wastes his ult on essentially nothing. He delays very slightly here. And they lose the first point. Okay, so I've skipped ahead a little bit to the next fight here. They're defending the hall. His positioning is good here, okay? He was in a good spot. He was hugging the corner, healing both these guys. But then he does something really weird here. He gets put under pressure from the Captain America again. And he decides to swim on the other side of the fight now. Okay? So now he... Remember, they're on the defending team. So now he's on this side. And his safety and his spawn and his teammates are going to be coming from here. And this is like all safe area for him. But he's now put himself in danger. He's flipped it. So he's over here. He's doing damage. He's healing. But now if these guys all roll down the road here, he's cut off. So he's cut himself off from the safety of his team and being able to heal and know that to his back is no pressure, right? And that's kind of what happens. It gets harder for him to heal. Visibility gets harder. He's over there, and his team's over here, and he could be here this whole time healing 100% safely. But instead, he's over here. So his teammates are dying. He almost dies, just barely gets out, gets over to where he should have been the whole time. So we have a saying that we kind of use in my stream where we call it a leash. He should have been on his leash, where he keeps a proper distance between him and his tanks, which varies depending on which healer that you're playing. But he should have been on his leash and always falling back this way. So they survive for a bit here, but his tank's under a crazy pressure. Obviously, it's like a 2v5, basically. 2v6, they're all up. He has his ultimate again, though. Now, he could use the ultimate here. He could grab his Magneto and fully heal the Magneto and probably grab one or two others here. And kind of relieve that pressure. He can grab them and just like swim right back through here towards his team. You know, he can spit out the Magneto and spit out the other two enemies, and the 6 members of his team could kill the 2 that he spits around this corner or something like that. You know, there's lots. He just needs to use the ult here before the fight is over, you know? But he doesn't. He's just holding on to it as they all die again. And now he ults. So now he's already lost 2 members of his team. And now he decides to ult. Remember, there's no cliff here. He can't get a 5-man ult and kill everyone on the enemy team, anything like that. So Jeff players, please, ult earlier if you're going to do it. It's okay if you swallow your tanks that are under massive pressure. You can hold on to them for 1 or 2 seconds and heal them for like 400 in 2 seconds and then spit them out. And then you have to make the decision if you want to hold the other guys for longer or not. But no matter what, it's like a stun in a way, right? So here he grabs the Venom and the Winter Soldier. That's it. He's taking them away from the fight. Okay, sure. And he spits them out. Now the Venom's just going to go right back to the fight. Winter Soldier will take a couple seconds longer. But had he done the exact same thing earlier, he could have healed the 2 teammates that died, his 2 tanks, and still accomplished the same thing. Okay, so I've skipped ahead here a little bit. They've held the second point for now. He's kind of looking around. He's kind of distracted. While he's reloading and staring at his invisible woman, his Iron Man just dies for free. I want to point out here yet again, he has 6 bubbles, and he has not put any down ahead of time. He could put, 1 or 2 right here or something, right? So his tanks have something to fall back onto. He could put 1 or 2 back here for his invisible woman. He has lots of things he could be doing, but he's just sitting here just kind of, sitting on his throne, overviewing the fight. And he's already lost a member of his team. So, Yet again, not planning ahead, just kind of sitting back and waiting to die, I guess. So his first instinct, I don't know, he shoots a couple, then he moves to the side. His Invisible Woman ults, which is good. He gets in it again, great. He starts doing some damage, okay, that's fine. But while you're doing this and you're so focused on attacking this guy here, you still need to pay attention to what's going on around you. And his Hulk is not in the fight. His Hulk is tanking multiple members of the enemy team. So he might require heals still, right? You got to pay attention to everything going on around you. Try not to tunnel. So he's still doing damage. And his Hulk is now almost dead. So now he's playing catch up to heal him. The Penny's also taken a large percentage of her health and damage. So he's too focused on the damage part because he thinks he can get away with it. And here, lots of swimming, lots of panic. See, if he had already put some bubbles out, he would still have his 6 bubbles, plus there'd be a couple bubbles laying around that might just reduce the burden of healing that you need to do. But instead, he's just having to drop the whole load of them all at once. He runs out, and his healing is reduced greatly because of that. Now here, I just want to point out one thing. It's quite simple. Does his Invisible Woman need heals right now? Well, yeah, technically she does. She doesn't have full health, right? But does she actually need them? Is she actually under pressure by anything, anyone? Is anyone near her hitting her? No. But people who actually are under pressure up here are not getting healed. So just because someone does need to be healed, you sometimes need to decide, like, wait, do I need to actually top them off all the way? Or should my focus be elsewhere? These poor guys up here, neither of their 2 healers that have absolutely nobody pressuring them right now, neither of their 2 healers are even looking at them or are in range to heal them. And what happens? Penny dies. Iron Man dies. I mean, that's not really the healer's fault, other than maybe the Invisible Woman could have shielded him. He did die very quickly. That one's not on Jeff. But Jeff has his ultimate again here. You going to use it now before the tank dies, or you going to wait? His tank jumps around the corner. He takes pressure. He's cracking the ult. But his Hulk is already turning back into Bruce Banner. Had he used this earlier, before that happened, he could have saved Hulk and taken the pressure off. But now he literally swallows no one but Bruce, spits the Bruce back. Is Bruce going to live? He's trying to get enough to turn into Hulk. No, he's dead. So Jeff, yet again, another ult wasted. He accomplished nothing with it because he just waited too long. It's okay if you don't have some crazy godlike ultimate. Just try and get some decent value out of it at a time where it still matters. While the middle of the fight is still occurring. That's when you should be ulting. Okay, so then moving on to the end of this next point, not a whole lot else happened that was really worth talking about. He wasn't bubbling again and stuff like that, but Jeff actually makes a good play here. I don't want to just shit on the guy the whole video, but he makes a great play here, heads up play. The team's about to cap, and Jeff gets on the point, saving it with 0.02 meters left. He's the one to touch. He's the one to make it happen. Okay, so good play by him there. He was aware of that. So he's close to his ultimate again. All right, he's attacking. He's trying to kill stuff, but he's got to make sure he stays alive. Okay, does some more healing. He's kind of staring at the ground. He gets his ultimate. This is huge, right? This is a great situation. His tank's under pressure. The enemy team's all here. Everyone's trying to, you know, people clump up on the payload right at the end. Everyone's trying to push it. Everyone's trying to defend it. He's got to make sure he doesn't ult and C9 the point. But this is huge that he has an ultimate here, right? I'd probably be using it back here somewhere and trying to grab a couple people and take them out of the fight. Make sure you don't take this tank out of there. But you'll see he doesn't use it at all. He just gets beat down and dies. We'll go back here briefly and see it from his view. Gets the ultimate. Captain America dives him. He forgets about using his bubbles. He forgets about his own survival. He doesn't use his ultimate. And he starts spraying the wall. And that's it. He dies. Yeah, I just would have cracked it, man. I just would have cracked the ult. You don't get to carry it to the next round here. He could have swallowed a mantis that was ultimating or something, right? Like he could have taken some pressure off. Or at least saved his own life and just popped back up over here and started healing again. So, I mean, there's definitely some panic involved. But sometimes people just overthink it too much. Sometimes you just crack it and just try and do something with it. You don't always have to have a master plan. But if anything we can take away from watching this Jeff so far, it's all of his ultimates have been too late. He hasn't planned anything out. He just oh shit, I guess people are dying. I guess I should ult. Well, if they're already dead, you've waited too long. So, one lesson to take away from this. Because of his death, you know, this team's missing a healer. The Penny goes, Wanda goes, and the enemies finish up the round. Okay, and I wanted to highlight a little thing here, too, with Jeff. His positioning isn't bad, like, overall. It's not like he's some terrible player that's feeding and stuff like that. But he's just, yeah, he's off on a few things. So here, he takes a little bit of damage, and he starts to swim this way, right? He's getting healed. I don't know where he's going, but, like, he's got teammates here. He just, like, leaves them to die. He swims up here. He hops down, tries to heal the Punisher, but it's too late. And I don't really know what he was doing here. Like, he's already safe as soon as he goes around the corner. He was already pretty much at full health anyway. Just overthinking it. Does he think he's being dove? I don't know. But again, the leash proposition. If he had just, as his team is being pushed back here, if he had just moved back to where he currently is now, he never would have had a problem. He would have been able to see everything that's happening in front of him. He would have been able to maybe save the Punisher's life. Maybe the Punisher gets to shoot more things. Maybe the Punisher gets an ultimate, and that ultimate they can use to actually push through the defense and capture the point. But instead, Punisher's dead. He's gaining no ult. Okay, so then a few seconds later, his team actually makes it to the point, and it looks like they're winning the fight, right? He does take some damage from the Thor here, the Jeff. He ignores his own bubbles, but whatever. He swims away from the Thor. And I just want to point something out here. It looks like a win, right? It looks like, I mean, all the blue teams here. This guy's about to die. There's multiple members of the red team not even there. And Jeff, he's healing a bit, and he starts shooting. And what? He died. I mean, he kind of just forgot the fundamentals of it all. He went into, let's clean this up. This looks like, yeah, we got this. Like, you know, he just like turned his back to where the enemies are coming from. I mean, he shouldn't be here at all, right? He should be over here somewhere. But you think, okay, whatever, he dies, right? Not the end of the world. So he dies. There goes one of the healers. And the enemy team actually comes and reclaims this. And they shut down his team here. And I also want to point out that Jeff died with his ultimate up again. So if he was still alive here and able to perhaps counter-ult something here, they might have actually captured the point. But they don't. His team loses this game right here. They never capture this point. It looked like a 100%, okay, we got it. All of us are alive. But it turned into a failure. And to add insult to injury, Jeff, when he does come back, he cracks his ult here. And the fight's already over. His team's all dead. They still had a minute on the clock, so they could have made another attempt at it. But here he goes. He just wastes his ultimate on nothing. He's going to accomplish nothing with this. And, yeah, no plan is part of the point. There's no plan to what's going on here. He runs back to his team, but his team's all scattered. They get a pick on the healer, but he dies too, so there's nothing changed there, right? Healer for healer, plus he used an ult. If he had just waited for his team to actually get closer or show up, they could have made something out of that. But he just rushed into it, and now he's dead again. So they go on, they lose this. As you can see, they never cap it again. The red team wins. I think the lesson that we can take from this whole thing with Jeff is that, yeah, positioning matters. That's obvious for any character. But main things. Pre-bubble more often. He has bubbles up consistently. He's sitting at 6 stacks of his bubble, and he just doesn't use them. That's a big one. Just fire a bubble somewhere safe. Someone's going to use it. Put one in the back line for yourself. Put one for your other support. Something like that. You shouldn't have 6 stacks on your ability when the bubbles last for 3 full minutes. Okay, so that's one main takeaway. Second big takeaway. His ultimates. Never had a plan for any of them. Never knew exactly what he was trying to do. Never tried to use them to save somebody's life. He only thought offense, offense, offense. I'm going to swallow some people and fuck with them. And yeah, all of them were too late. This guy, if he would review this game, he should be able to, decipher, wait a second, I'm always ulting too late. Or I'm accomplishing nothing with my ultimate. Why? So those are the big things you can learn from this. Try and use your ultimate earlier. It's okay if you swallow one of your tanks that's taking damage. That's good. You're going to heal him. You can take the pressure off of him. If you swallow one tank and one DPS only on the enemy team, that's fine. That's what you need to do, especially on these maps that don't have a cliff for you to spit people off of. Just try and have a plan for the ultimate. And other than that, just pay attention to your positioning. Use a couple bubbles when the fight has died down and when you feel like you're safe. You can use a bubble or two. Don't use 6 of them. Just use a bubble or two. Have them somewhere useful to your team. And Jeff is already considered bad. He's harder to play than playing a Luna or playing Cloak and Dagger or something. His ultimate is much harder to use than those. So you already have to really think hard about what you're doing. But make it easier on yourself. Keep it simple. Don't try and do crazy stuff. Just play Jeff. Be the backbone of the team. Keep the heals going, the bubbles, and just use your ultimate before your whole team's dead. That's probably a good way of looking at it. Anyway, that's it from me. Hopefully someone can take something of value out of this video, especially if you're a Jeff main. Don't get discouraged. Jeff is definitely harder to play, and people might hate on you a bit. But if you enjoy the character, that's the main thing, really. Just have fun with it. Try and get better. Really try and work on that ultimate. It's one of the most important parts of the whole kit, and it's the most difficult part of his whole kit. But thanks so much for watching. I do stream daily on twitch.tv/Silva66. I like to review videos and kind of give people some tips if I can. But yeah, stop by, and thanks for watching. Take care.